Our reporters Paul Hawkins and Alice Porter are amongst the reporters we will have out there today. And let's find out where they are. Paul, London Bridge Station for you. Tell us more.
Yeah, London Bridge Station, which normally by now those doors would be open and you'd see people streaming out of the station. The start of rush hour, we got there, the doors were closed and we had a little wander through the station. We were allowed to walk through it. I'll be honest, Eamon, Isabel, it felt a little bit like the pandemic times in there. The trains pulled up right at the end at the buffers, nobody in there, and the station won't open until 7 o'clock. And as we know, even when it does, only 1 in 5 trains will run. So a very limited service. And then, of course, on top of that, you've got the strike at Transport for London, say RMT members walking out there over pay and conditions and pensions and job cuts that TfL has been told it needs to introduce. It's been told that by the government effectively saying, look, because we subsidised you during the pandemic, you need to make significant job cuts, you need to change pensions, and indeed TfL wants to lose 600 jobs. So at the moment, very few services are going to run on the tube, very few services are going to run on the overground in here to London Bridge, and indeed the other mainline stations in London, and passengers are being advised to find other modes of transport, or even better than that. And one member of Network Rail staff told us earlier, stay at home. He said he doesn't know how it's going to be today. He doesn't know what it's going to be like. They've never seen anything like this before. Are people going to take that advice, and are they going to stay at home?
Thank you very much. Well, let's cross over to Alice, who's at Reading for us this morning. Reading, Alice, presumably lots of people in Reading will be choosing to take taxis instead or out on the roads. What's the scene where you are?
Morning, Isabel. Well, I think the empty scene behind me sort of says it all, really. I mean, there's so many people would normally be here at Reading Station. It's the second biggest interchange outside of London. So lots of people normally who would be commuting into the capital, but also to other parts of the UK as well, such as Bristol. But all the main operators that would be normally coming through this station are having a severely reduced service. I mean, Great Western Railway, for example, say they're operating at about 30% capacity. And when I sort of found out about this story and thought I was going to be here, I thought, oh, well, at least there's some good news. People can take the Elizabeth line. Unfortunately, that's not the case. It will still be operating, but because of the sort of knock-on effects of the delays that we're going to be seeing in other parts of the train system, and also with the tube strikes in London as well, that's having a knock-on effect. So the Elizabeth line isn't even starting until 7:40, and it'll be finishing earlier at 4 p.m. this afternoon. And then for those people who do manage to get to London, of course, as Paul was saying there, you've got tube strikes as well. So I really think the empty scene behind me, I think, is very indicative of a lot of people who've taken the advice not to travel, because I think even if you do manage to get a train, I can foresee a situation where we're going to have so many people just crammed onto a train, and that's only when you manage to get to London. I've had a look on the boards behind me. At the moment, it says that the trains are running on time, but I can foresee if A, that's a reduced service, and B, I can foresee that changing quite dramatically, and I can think a lot of people will either opt for taxis, although that is of course a very expensive option if you are going to be going into the capital. So hopefully people are able to work from home, but of course so many people aren't able to do that, and I think that is a really important issue. It's very easy to watch this situation unravelling today, saying why can you not just stay at home? If you've got to take your kid to their GCSE exam, which are impacted today, then you really have no choice in the matter.
OK, Alice, thank you very much indeed, and thank you to you, Paul, as well.